Bienvenue à
Good evening,
cette
everyone, and welcome to this meeting of Council on February 26th. Just to start here, you're probably wondering why we're wearing such bright colors, why we're wearing this really nice pink this evening. It's because on Wednesday, on February 28th, it's the Day Against Bullying. It's celebrated across Canada, throughout the world since 2007. This initiative started when grade 12 students distributed 50 pink t-shirts after another student was victim of bullying because they wore a pink shirt. And I have a few of them at home, actually. This took place in Cambridge, in our neighboring province of Nova Scotia. And this is why we are wearing this pink shirt this evening to show our support for Anti-Bullying Day, to give a powerful message of inclusion, respect, and solidarity. In Dieppe, the administration, council members, and all staff act as ambassadors of the city. It is our responsibility in our municipality, and as a matter of fact, our municipality is recognized for its hospitality and its openness. We are going to continue to work with all of you in order to create an environment where there is no room for bullying. Together, we can educate, make people aware, and inspire change. Oh, I lost the third page here. I would like to thank the Boys and Girls Club of Dieppe, our friends from Lakeburn who came to visit us just a few weeks ago. We'd like to thank them for having invited us to wear this shirt. In closing, I'd like to invite you to participate in the Pink Shirt Day this Wednesday and to continue to promote a culture of respect towards everybody all year round. Thank you. To open the meeting, the City of Dieppe recognizes that the land on which it operates is part of the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq. Dear colleagues, let's have the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you all. And now we'd like to open the meeting. And do we have confirmation of quorum? Everybody is in position, except for Councillor Thibodeau. Everybody is allowed to take vacation. Mine are coming up, actually. Now, the conflicts of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest to declare? Nothing has been brought to the attention of the clerk. Now, the adoption of the agenda, I need a motion to adopt the agenda. It's been moved and seconded on the question. All those in favor will signify by saying yes. Opposed, no. It's carried as presented, which brings us immediately to presentations, inquiries, and petitions. And as always, we're going to start our presentations with the Inspector Chantal Farah, who is here this evening. Good evening, Chantal Farah, and welcome. Good evening, Your Worship, councillors. I only have two things to mention this evening. On February 15th, the police officers executed a search warrant on Acadie Avenue in Quebec because of a luring incident in the region. During the search, they found digital evidence and arrested a 37-year-old man. Later that same day, Olivia Boisvert appeared in Moncton Provincial Court and was charged with luring a child, invitation to sexual touching, and making sexual explicit material available to a child. He was remanded into custody and is scheduled to return to court on March 7th to enter a plea. This investigation is ongoing, and the police is working to determine if there were any other victims. Olivier Boisvert was using the nickname TTV Scorp O on the Dead by Daylight game on Xbox, as well as on the Discord platform. If your children use these platforms, you can find the press conference online. Just go have a look, a glance at where your children are playing, what platforms they use, and if there's any possibility that your child was in a contact with this person, please contact us. I would also like to point out that you should never be ashamed about reporting this kind of behavior and people who prey on children. It takes courage, it takes a lot of patience, it takes understanding on behalf of the parents. And we're very familiar with this, and we always try to make sure that we have a proper approach with youth and their parents because it's very delicate. Now, in order to get more information, you'll find all sorts of tools online for you and your children. You have the internet safety, cybertip.ca, protect kids online, don't get sextorted.ca, and so on. Now, you mentioned people traveling, Your Worship. Please allow me to give you a couple of travel tips to make sure that you can go on your March break in safely. So just a reminder that sometimes we need these reminders. So please make sure that you lock your doors, your windows, the basement windows, the garage and sheds. Don't leave a key hidden outside. Don't do that because whatever you think, where you think it's hidden, the criminals know there's that blood. So ask a person, a neighbor, a friend, somebody you trust, just to keep an eye out on your property, to pick up the newspapers if they're being distributed, as well as your Amazon parcels and letters. If you can put timers for your radios, your lights, your TV, it gives people the impression that you're home. Don't give only give your travel experiences after your return. Don't give them live while you're away. If you have any money, any jewels or other objects, if you have any other objects, like always, please use safety deposit boxes. Don't leave them at home. And something we often forget are tools that are lying around outside, ladders, and so they can be crimes of opportunity. Don't leave anything in your backyard, in your yard that would help a criminal to break into your house. Often we forget about the garage door openers. Don't leave that in your car because if somebody breaks into your car, that opens the door to your house. So always take out your garage door openers if you have your car parked outside the house. And as always, ask your neighbors to report any suspicious activity to the police, and we will go send a patrol. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you. Any questions for Inspector Farah? If not, it would seem that you're getting off easy this evening. Thank you. Thank you once again for your presentation, which is always to the point and very much appreciated by everybody. Thank you. Thank you and have a great evening. Once again, you're welcome to stay, but I'm convinced you have other things to do. We're now at no questions by members of the public. Nothing from the public. There's nobody amongst this vast public. Nobody has a question. So we'll continue on then. The adoption of minutes. The minutes of the regular council meeting held on February 12th. Who would like to move the adoption? It's been moved by Councillor Turgeon-Roy, seconded by Councillor Leboutier on the question. No questions. All those in favor of the resolution will signify. Opposed? It's carried. The minutes of the meeting of February 12th have been adopted as presented. Which brings us to item number 10. Motions, memorandums, and memorandums and nominations. 10.1, fire. Purchase of a sport utility vehicle. Mr. Melançon, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Councillors, Your Worship. Our first file this morning is after an RFP. It's for the purchase of a sport utility vehicle. There was a tender. We received one bid, and this is we recommend that it be awarded to Lounsbury Automotive Limited at the cost of $71,895.85 plus HST. So it's recommended that we award this tender for firefighting expenses. Thank you. Who would like to read the resolution? Councillor Godet. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council award the tender for the purchase of a 2024 Chevrolet Tahoe sport utility vehicle for the fire department to Lounsbury Automotive Limited at the cost of $71,895.85 plus HST, pursuant to its proposal dated February 6, 2024, and authorize that this expenditure be defrayed from account number 3-3-20-12-7902, General Capital Budget, General Equipment Purchase, Fire, and that Council authorize the purchase of equipment for the said vehicle at the cost of $44,475.15 plus HST, and further authorize that this expenditure be defrayed from account number 3-3-20-12-7902, General Capital Budget, General Equipment Purchase, Fire. And I so move. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Godet, seconded by Councillor Turgeon-Roy on the question. No questions. So all those in favor will signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. It's carried as presented. Now we're at 10.2.1. 10.2.1, Mr. Melançon. Now this is for the on-demand transit services for urban mobility. So we received some bids, we received 4 bids, and they created a committee to evaluate them, and the staff recommended that the award go to Maurice Richard for a period for 10 years, starting April 1st, 2024, with the option of adding an extra year depending on the level of and quality of the service. This is our recommendation then, in order to ensure on-demand transit service. Thank you. Who would like to read the resolution? Councillor Lantaigne. That Council award the contract for the on-demand transit services to Maurice Richard for the period from April 1st, 2024 to April 1st, 2026, following the evaluation of the bids received for tender call RFP 24-MU01, provision and operation of on-demand transit services, and I so move it. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Lantaigne, seconded by Councillor Brideau on the question. No question? Yeah, question. Councillor Leboutier, thank you. Just a question of clarification. How does it compare to previous years? Is it similar? We give the amount for this year, but what were the amounts in the past? Yes. Yeah, in terms of cost. Is there a big difference from previous years? No, in this case, no. That's a detail I can't give you right now, but it's there's an increase, of course, because of inflation, but it's not a major difference, no. Major 5%, less than 5%. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It's carried as presented. Mr. Melançon, 10.3. The next three items are for the renewal of the municipal fleet in the purchase of trucks. The first one is for a cab forward truck. It's a vehicle that was reviewed with this is an upgraded because it gives us a lot more flexibility in terms of spreading of salt and in our parking lots. There was only one bid received from Lounsbury Automotive for at the amount of $108,514.31 plus HST. And this it would be in the 2024 budget for a Isuzu 2023 3v3 model. This is our recommendation. Thank you. Who would like to read the resolution? Councillor Turgeon-Roy. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council award the contract for the purchase of a cab forward truck with accessories, 2023 Isuzu 3v3 NRR model for the facilities sector to Lounsbury Automotive Limited at the cost of $108,514.31 plus HST, pursuant to its proposal dated January 23rd, 2024, and authorize that this expenditure be defrayed from account number 3-3-20-12-7903, General Capital Budget, General Equipment Purchase, Facilities. And I so move it. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Turgeon-Roy, seconded by Councillor Laboutier on the question. No questions. All those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. It's carried as adopted, as presented, which brings us to 10.3.2, the purchase of a half-ton truck. This is a half-ton, a 2x4 half-ton truck, Chevrolet Silverado from Lounsbury Automotive Limited at the cost of $50,899.57 plus HST. We received a bid under this RFP, and it is within our budget, and so this is what we are recommending to replace our aging fleet. Councillor Jeanette, thank you, Your Worship. That Council award the tender for the purchase of a half-ton truck, a 2x4, 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 model for the facilities sector to Lounsbury Automotive Limited at the cost of $50,899.57 pursuant to its proposal dated January 18, 2024, and authorize that this expenditure be defrayed from account number 3-3-20-12-7903, General Capital Budget, General Equipment Purchase, Facilities. It's been moved by Councillor Jeannin, seconded by Councillor Turgeon-Roy on the question. On the question, Councillor Godet. Thank you. Just a question of information. I noticed that all of these bids came from the same companies. Does that mean that we don't have that we didn't get what we were looking for, or that well, all of the tenders are on the provincial NBON network, and that's where all the suppliers and all suppliers in the public sector use that system, and that's the platform that we use for our tenders, our RFPs, and we will put it out, but there's quite a challenge where it's getting better, but we still don't have what we want. But it's within our budget, so that's a good thing. So, but there was no validation. Mr. Melançon, the next one. Has it been voted? Yes. Has it been voted? No, I'm sorry. It's been moved and seconded. Now, on the vote, all of those in favor will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. Carried as presented. 10.3.4. Once again, it's another half-ton truck for another Chevrolet Silverado, again to Lounsbury Automotive for 47,129,000. And so that's within our budget. And so we recommend that if on the motion, Councillor Godet, who would like to read it, thank you. That council award the tender for the purchase of a half-ton truck 2x4 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 model for the operations department to Lounsbury Automotive Limited at the cost of $47,129 and plus HST pursuant to its proposal dated January 18th, 2024, and authorize this expenditure be defrayed from account number 3-3-20-12-7901, general capital budget, general equipment purchase, Public Works. And I so move it. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Godet, seconded by Councillor Brideau on the question. No questions. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It's carried as presented.
10.3.3, lane marking paving. Once again, we're preparing for summer and spring. So we're looking for a purchase of lane marking paint, and it's a contract which is beyond the threshold of management. And so Cape Mount Stinson at the cost of $61,439 plus HST, and we recommend to go ahead with this. To read the resolution, Councillor Turgeon-Roy. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council awards the tender for the purchase of lane marking paint for the Operations Department to Équipement Stinson Incorporated at the cost of $61,439.15 plus HST, and authorize this expenditure be defrayed from account number 1-2-35-63-2665, General Operating Budget, Lane Marking. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Turgeon-Roy, seconded by Councillor Lantang on the question. There being none, all those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Against, nay. This motion is carried. This brings us now to item 11.1 regarding bylaw E1 2024 tree bylaw. For the summary reading of this resolution, Councillor Le Boutillier. Article 15, Local Governance 2.3, Bylaw E1 2024, Tree Bylaw. Under the powers, conferred under Local Governance Act 2017, Chapter 18, the Municipal Council of Dieppe organized. The Council of Dieppe duly assembled and acts as followed. It remains unchanged as E-1 2023 passed 2023 in June, except for the following amendments: the suppression of the definition urban boundary, part of the city designated as urban boundary as illustrated in Z-10, and those replacements in urban boundaries, and its replacement by that follows as illustrated in Annex A, intervention zone as illustrated in Annex A. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Le Boutillier, seconded by Councillor Godet on the question. There being none, you have a question, Councillor Godet? I wasn't sure. The intervention zone, is it on monument? This amendment is following the announcement. It's the extension of Dieppe Boulevard. We've now established the zone, which is going to be serviced by that area, we now have a tree bylaw which is going to correspond to that zone. So in reality, it's the previous boundary of the Dieppe. Everything is going to be integrated under the tree bylaw. Thank you. For those in favor of the resolution, will say aye. Against nay. Second reading has been done. This brings us to third reading by title alone. Councillor Le Boutillier. Thank you. Bylaw E-1 2024, tree bylaw. I so move by title alone. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Le Boutillier, seconded by Councillor Godette. We move third reading by title. All those in favor will say aye. Against nay. The resolution is carried as presented. Notice of motion. Nothing was sent in. Inquiries and announcements by members of council. Let's begin with Councillor Lantagne. He looks like he's ready to put up his dukes. Nothing for me this evening, Your Worship. Oh, I picked the right one. Councillor Godbout. Thank you, Your Worship. Lately, I have a lot of events to report on. One of the things that I wanted to share with council, and we discuss this on a regular basis, is about the importance that we want to provide to governance of this organization. And so very quietly, we have been working on the administration of their policies and the operationalization of these policies. The policies are there, but we have to put them into effect. So we have policies, the work has been done, but now we're starting to get organized around that. One of the things that we had asked for, and we are starting to see results related to it, is to ask at looking the policies and then adding them onto their operations. Yearly, there's supposed to be a report about their values and ethics. So at the last meeting, we had something added to the reports where we held some discussions about the various complaints and things have been brought up to the attention of the RCMP. So first of all, I simply want to note that we're looking at transparency, things that are happening around the RCMP. I thank them for that. We're seeing this at different levels and we are seeing progress in that area. This is all part of the recommendations that we've seen in the reports and that we had in the municipalities. So we've done some follow-up there. And what we were talking about with regard to values and ethics, there were two involved, and one mentioned general complaints which are made against the RCMP. So in 2023, they said they received 54 complaints from the public of a general nature. So that may involve members, for example, some person complains more than once, or one person received more than one complaint. And so 54 complaints may mean directly, but every time a complaint is received, it is examined, an inquiry, an investigation, follow-up occurs with the objective to change any behaviors that they discover within the framework of this investigation and provide better service to our citizens and partners. So it's important to recognize that these values and ethics are examined every year. Also, we are told that no specific complaints had been deployed against members of the Kodiak RCMP in the last year. So sometimes you say, well, if you hear nothing, it's because nothing has been hidden, something has been hidden, but not at all. Is that the requirements regard to governments had not always been explained or required. And so in bringing out these issues, we can congratulate them for the fine work that they've done. Secondly, what I wanted to share with the council with regard to Kodiak RCMP, the CRPA, they have celebrated an anniversary in the past year, but they've renewed their fundamental values. And so as an organization, in the last couple of years, they have studied their values and determined that they needed to be updated. 5 new values, or at least updated values, have been provided, and I wanted to share them with you. So the first one, and the information is available online for this, but to give you a quick summary of this, there were 5 values. One was to act with integrity. That's so to behave in an ethical way with honesty, equity, be respectful, promote reconciliation, diversity, and inclusion by including the lived lives of others, be compassionate, taking care of others and the community they serve. I'm paraphrasing here a little bit. Assume responsibility, so be transparent in their uh, serve with excellence. And so I congratulate them on renewing their values and ethics. And as a committee and as a council who supports them, we have had this type of discussion at our last meeting. I simply wanted to share that with you uh, on this at this opportunity. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor, for this report, but also for the excellent work that you're doing on this committee, because it's been happening for a while, and we've come from quite a good deal of progress, and we count on you to continue in that vein. Thank you. Councillor Turgeon-Roy, nothing for me this week. Have a good week, everyone. Thank you. Councillor Brideau, nothing from me this evening. Councillor Janet, I have a few things, Your Worship. First of all, I have a question with regard to the notice, the boil water notice. Some citizens, and clearly it's a bit heavy when this happens and it's difficult to not be able to have water. So I think people are irritated about this. And after 12 or 24 hours, people start to worry about what's happening, and they don't necessarily understand what the process is once there is a boil water notice. What is the follow-up regarding the water testing? So I think the public would like to be reassured, and henceforth, will there be changes with regard to communications in any upcoming boil water notices? Mr. Melanson, I can give you one part of the answer, and then my colleague will be able to add to that. Councillor Brideau, with regard to the water, it's complicated. First of all, we have to find where the break is and repair it. And once this is done, we have to make sure that work is properly done and that it doesn't cause any breaks or leaks elsewhere. So that's the first thing. And then after that, we have to send our water samples to public health to make sure that the water quality meets the standards of the province. So this undertaking means 2 tests within 24 hours of each other. So when there's a water leak, there's about a 48-hour period where we are required to validate and before we can tell the public to start drinking water again. And so we recommend residents to clean their taps and that kind of thing. So that's the first thing. But with regard to procedure of advising the public, we know that it's very frustrating. And you can imagine for those who have had these water issues, but for the health of our public, the health of our citizens, we make sure that the water is at the standard it needs to be. But I'll ask my colleague to look at what we might consider in the future. Thank you. First of all, I would like to say that as soon we get an update, we publish it. So if nothing has been published, it's because we have no update. We meet with our colleagues from water and sewer system to determine whether our procedures might be improved to provide a little bit more information to the public, especially with regard to the procedures that are happening without giving a specific time or date that this is going to happen, because we don't really control that. It's up to public health, but we have to explain what the various steps are. Thank you for considering a small change in the way that this announcement will be made to the public. I think the big thing is that when after 24 hours, people are asking, look, is it ending? They say until new information, but is there an update, after a certain time? So I think the public wants to be reassured that the procedure is still underway. Your Worship, once the repair has been made, it doesn't mean that everything is fine. We can confirm that we do not delay things needlessly. We go to public health and no effort is spared to make sure that things are done correctly. We want to assure the citizens that we make sure things are safe and that we have to comply with the program. When I saw the communique, I thought it was properly written, nice, well written, but it's simply to reassure citizens that things are happening in the correct order. I had an opportunity to replace the mayor at the Capitol Theatre. There was a great show, The Little Mermaid was produced, a very high quality production. They had the right technical equipment. It was very high caliber. We were very lucky to have this type of show here. So I encourage you to go and attend this production. And the casting, there was Véronique Hébert, Zach Linnell. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone else, but I think these were the only two. I hope I haven't forgotten any other on the cast. And congratulations to the whole cast and team who organized the activities for for Black History Month. There was a great event at the library. It was a human library on site, and we were pleased to meet Afro-Canadians and to hear about their history and their professional accounts. And congratulations to those. The event at Rotary Park. There was a soup event which we enjoyed and warmed us up. And those who organized Heritage Week, there were some great activities during that week too, and a great opportunity to see pictures of our city the way it was before and to share the history of it. And that's it. So great. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you. I just want to come back for one moment to the matter of our water problems. And I think in this regard, we could provide more information to citizens. We know that this is an issue which has lasted now for many years, and we know that isn't going to be resolved overnight or even next year for that matter. It's very difficult to talk about it, but I also think we need to tell the public and provide them with an update so they can look forward and say, well, unfortunately, it's a situation which has been ongoing for many years, and we're going to have to deal with it for a somewhat more time while we wait for the work to be done along Dieppe Boulevard and the connections that are going to be built there. Thank you, Worship. This is exactly what we were talking about this morning, and we have to understand when the repairs are going to be made. This is our objective of the meeting, not just to prepare a communication, but to provide complete information so people know what to expect in the coming years with regard to this water line, and perhaps an invitation to an evening at City Hall. Councillor Le Boutillier. Thank you, Your Worship. Well, I have a question for the CEO, and it's an update about all the rumors that we're hearing. Maybe not so many rumors, but some rumors with regard to the HJL that it might be closed. So if you might give us some details and some information. Well, we love to give updates. So there's no roundabout here. So we resolved that a couple of months ago. So with Agile Leblanc, we are looking at the possibility of seeing what investments are necessary. So we have the project discussion with the FCM, Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and we are looking at seeing what the decision is from this group and to seeing, we'll be providing a presentation to Council later if we're going to be making any big changes to the Centre Gilles Leblanc. There are solar panels on the roof and other improvements have been made to this building, but we're not closing the arena for any repairs for the time being. And until you hear anything else, it'll be presented to the council and to public, and the calendar of activities will be presented if anything should happen. Thank you. That's it for me. Councillor Godet. Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to talk a little bit about the water along Amiro, but for the residents to make sure that we have infrastructure is old and to make sure that it's resolved. Well, not tomorrow morning and not next year, but along Dieppe Boulevard to make sure that people know that things are going to be resolved.
Yes, exactly. And we want to be transparent, and that's the whole objective of a meeting, is to plan everything and to make sure the budgets are in place to meet our objectives and to make sure that the situation is taken care of. Thank you. Thank you. That's all for me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. I have nothing to add myself, so have a great evening, everyone, and see you next time.